Agents of Mock reporting in.
Hey.
I'm starting the stream. I'm your special correspondent from across the hallway, Agent Briquette. Chuck, why do you got to do that to me? Huh?
Why am I so dark too?
So dark. Dark and mysterious. Is there an echo? Am I using two mics accidentally?
Possibly. We're so damn professional.
You can watch me make silly faces.
Anyways, welcome everybody to the stream. Welcome to MOCday. The MOCday is young.
The MOCday is my age. It's 41.
I'm Agent Playwell. This is Agent Briquette. If you don't know what MOCday is, this is a live stream where we talk about original creations, techniques that you can use in your original creations. We'll show off some other people's stuff. We'll show off our stuff and everybody else. And we've got a special guest here that wanted to join us on this MOCday. Did somebody say Mayo?
I said Mayo.
Hosco.
Hello, it's me, Mayo Hosco. No sugar, no filler, just real whole egg.
How you doing, man? It's glad to have you on the show.
I'm doing really good this morning, and you guys actually gave me a reason to wake up in the morning, so thank you.
Perfect. Awesome. So, I say let's start with you, because I don't know, you've been pretty prevalent in these live streams in the Lego YouTube community. Like every time I go into a live stream, I see Mayo there. So what inspired you to get into the Lego YouTube community and join all these live streams?
Yeah, so actually it was all the way back in 2013, actually. So a lot of people in the new generation and people in the older generation like you who just came back in the past, whatever, blah 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 blah, might not realize that I actually started my channel in 2013, but I went on a big hiatus from 2017 to 2020, and I came back in August of 2020 after I had deleted all of my old videos because of copper in January of 2020. I was waiting 6 months to see what the kind of winning formula was for Lego YouTubers to not get their videos to not get their videos flagged as made for kids, and I noticed the tips and tricks that people were doing to not get their videos flagged. So I developed a system because I was getting really bored during the whole pandemic. I wanted to come back in some way or form, and I knew that the best way to get my name out there again, into try and growing the channel, into try and forming new relationships, was to be as active as possible, commenting on people's live streams.
Yeah, that the COPPA thing was definitely something that like really shook the YouTube community as a whole, and yeah, the Lego community really felt it too. I'll be honest, I was a little shook myself. I usually don't get shook about much of anything on YouTube, but that really was like, okay, what is actually going to happen here? Am I going to actually have to
stirred.
Yeah, am I going to actually have to get rid of all my commenting? That was a big thing for me. It was like, am I going to have to turn off my comments because Lego bricks mostly at the time were for kids, So am I going to have to turn this into a kids channel or what? So yeah, that was definitely something that really scared a lot of people. And yeah, it almost pushed me out of YouTube completely because yeah, the community was like the reason why I was here. So yeah, there was really no reason to do it anymore. But it proved to be not as bad as we thought it was, so that's a good thing. Anyways, let's take a look at the chat and see who's here with us. We got Iceberg Bricks. We got Zizu. We got Brick Hive. What's up, Brick Hive? Good morning, Brick World. We got Jesse's Brick Galaxy. What's up, Jesse? And Agent Burkett, of course. She's in here with us in the panel. But thanks again, Mail, for joining us. I really appreciate you coming on. It's difficult to find people that want to come on and show off their stuff, or just talk. You know, you just be a part of a community. So I appreciate you. Do you have anything that you want to show, or are you just here to hang out?
Yes, absolutely. I can put my camera on the mock and we can get this thing started. So let me just get it into position.
No worries, take your time.
Let me get the camera all set up.
No
and
worries.
Voila.
Oh, there you go. You're ready to go.
Yeah. So this is my castle mock, and the foundation of it is built upon this raised base plate that I bought at a Lego convention in my home city in either 2015 or 2016. I can't remember. Some people might notice because of the printing and the shape of the 3D mold that
Yes.
it is the raised base plate from the King Leo's castle.
Yep.
From Knight's Kingdom 1 back in 2000. And back in 2013, around the time when I started my channel, I invested heavily in a lot of the 2013 castle sets, and I ended up buying 2 of the King's castles because I missed out on so many epic castle themes from the time I was born in 2001 up until I finally amassed the capital to start buying my own Lego, because I remember owning sets like the Tower Raid from the Fantasy Castle era and thinking, you know what, one day I'm gonna build a large castle and a large castle medieval diorama. So I invested heavily in that stuff. I had attempted to build, or to have my whole 6x4 foot table over there to be nothing but a castle diorama, but that quickly changed to being all about Lego City. And so I had been bouncing off different ideas and lots of different prototypes over a good 3-year period up until the time I bought this base plate. And then when I bought this base plate, I ended up tearing all those old castle designs down because I knew that the raised base plates that they used to do in the castle sets were just such a great foundation of how to build castles. And I think until you build a castle on a raised base plate, you will never truly appreciate the value of a raised base plate, because you always hear in the community people devaluing the value of a raised base plate and saying that raised base plates look ugly and that it takes away from the build experience and whatnot, because there are some people who say, well, this is kind of like cheating. I would rather build the bricks to make all this raised stuff. But the reason why Lego didn't is because if they wanted their builds to be more complex and have all of this raised section being solid brick, because it's hollow at the bottom, that would have made the sets a lot more expensive, and the sets were already expensive enough as it is, especially going back as far as the early 90s when Lego was comparatively more expensive than what it is now. So anyway, that was just a side story. So
yeah, definitely the
add,
raised base plates. Go ahead, Alicia.
It's such an easy way to add dimension too. If you have a flat surface like a city, you can, you don't have to rely on so much brick or so much Duplo to make different levels in a city. You can just throw one of those raised base plates in there and give it a little shape, a little character.
Yeah, I think one of the other problems was that those were easily able to. There wasn't much support underneath those. Like you said, they were hollow, so there wasn't much support underneath. So it was easy to like push them in and potentially, push the studs in and the surface and breaking the surface of the.
Like you couldn't build anything too heavy on top of them.
Well, yeah, but over time, I think the integrity of the raised base plate deteriorated, and because of how big the mold is, like what we're dealing with right now, like depending on how big the parts are in sets, it will raise the price of that set because of how much it takes to put that mold in, to create that mold. So
yeah.
No, I like the raised base plates, honestly. I really dig the old classic castle stuff still, and not sure if I would go with one in particular if I were to do like an original like castle mock or something like that, but I have seen people use those. One person in particular that I can think of is AC Pin. He did this really cool Shanghai temple. I don't know if it was Shanghai, but it was a samurai temple. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, he used that exact base plate and created this beautiful temple, and it looked good. It was a legit creation. So there's definitely use for them still, I think.
Yeah, and so my main motivation for finishing this mock at all was that I had rebooted my channel because this was just left dormant for so many years that I felt guilty that I just stopped working on it, because I'm more of a city builder, can you tell?
Yeah, I saw that. And you have it all on the floor there, I see.
Yeah, because I'm such a stickler for real estate when building a city and making sacrifices on the altar of gaining as much land as possible. It just made more sense to me to build it on the floor than try to build it on my hobby table.
Yeah, absolutely. So you didn't have the King Leo's castle, you basically just bought the parts for it, correct?
Well, actually, a majority of the pieces for the structure is from the 2013 is from the two 2013 King's Castle sets I have. So a lot of these where was it? A lot of the 1x4x6 castle wall elements and these corner wall elements, and especially the ones with the stickers, are from the 2013 King's Castle set.
Yeah, those are definitely the new ones.
Same with the shields right there. But what I ended up doing is I ended up buying a lot of these corner wall pieces with the crenels up top, so that the archers and whatever can hide behind them when someone is on the battlefield shooting a catapult they can hide away, and these 1x5x6 or whatever they are castle wall elements from independent toy stores in my city that sell Lego. And some people might know, if they know their history, that these specific versions that are black with the very light grey stone printing are from sets like the Black Monarch's castle, and I'm not sure, but I think they might have been from the Black Knight's castle as well. Someone in the comments correct me if I'm wrong about that.
The black ones?
Yes.
The black panels? Those are... No, they're a little bit different. Those are, I think, are almost exclusive to King Leo's castle. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, the one for the one you just mentioned is slightly different. I think it's an older style because I have that set, so it's not as
because I know
detailed
that there are
the
two
printing.
different versions of these elements, but when I just see this element as a whole, the Black Monarch's castle comes to my mind. And for those who don't know, that was a set from 1989.
Yeah, that's a beautiful set.
Yeah, I have some sets
I might be
from
thinking
that
of a different
era
one.
castle. Anything. I don't have any of the big sets. I have like a couple of, like, a cart and a dude and a thing and a ghost and a castle front with like guys that you put on the top. I don't know the set numbers or anything, but I don't have anything as intricate as the Black Knight castle.
So,
yeah,
are you able to show the inside of that at all, or is there an interior or anything? Mayo, do you have an interior or anything on the inside?
Actually, I don't really have a lot of interior details, and right now the space mocks that I've built have actually invaded the interior detail.
Nice.
But I'm not really
like a
one
multiverse stitch.
yeah, but I'm not really one to invest a lot of my time, energy, or money into interior detail. I'm more about the exterior details because I don't really design my structure mocks to be excuse me. I don't really design them to be played with. I design them more to just sit in a diorama and serve a purpose. So really the only interior detail in this whole mock is that there is a horse stable at the bottom. If I will probably, when I actually start building my medieval castle diorama, I might have the energy to get emotionally invested into putting a proper interior detail, because it would be good to have a stack of supplies just littered around the castle with all the different commodities that the traders would have used, collected at harvest, or what they would have mined in mines or whatever, and basically use the castle as a storage point to store their stock before they sell it at the market or whatever. That's the kind of interior details I could imagine putting on some of the deep dark corners, and then other stuff like weaponry racks and water barrels and stuff. That kind of stuff I have considered putting in as interior detail, but I haven't done so yet because I just haven't gotten as emotionally invested in the mock as what I think I will in the future.
That's historically accurate too. A lot of castles functioned as like little marketplaces and, waypoints for people to trade and all that stuff. It wasn't all like throne rooms and BS like that. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's something you could just throw right inside the castle walls, not necessarily inside the towers or, inside the structure. Yeah, definitely something I would recommend adding that in the future if you could.
once I get emotionally invested.
Are you planning on doing any more terrain work outside of the raised base plate?
Yeah, because I've got a bunch of, I've probably got in between 15 to 25 random Duplo pieces, and I've also got those IKEA a big league storage boxes that have the stud connections. I was trying for a long time to think about how to incorporate those IKEA big leagues as cheater bricks for building terrain in my city, but the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think I'm more likely to use them as a mountain in the castle, a medieval diorama on the right side of the build, to act as a border between the medieval stuff and the vintage space diorama I want to build on the other side. Have a mountainscape to act as the border, but also maybe try to incorporate a gold mine inside of the mountain, and that's where
that'd be a good idea. I like that.
And that's where the Duplo pieces would also come in handy to use as cheater bricks, because it's much cheaper to use stuff like that than to actually buy the brick.
Oh yeah, totally. I've done that in the city. I don't know if you've seen I put an Instagram post out years ago, but yeah, I used Duplo to kind of fill in the gaps. And like you said, you don't have to use as much of your regular Lego brick to create that terrain work. So yeah, it's not uncommon. It's definitely not uncommon.
Oh, I've seen all your city updates because I'm a binge watcher.
Oh yeah, you went all the way through, it seemed like.
Yeah, I've done that with a dozen or so people in the last 3 months alone.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
He had to do his research before he got on here.
Well, he was doing it before we even decided to have him on, or just before he even wanted to come on. So, but anyways, did you say that you had another mock that you had to show?
Yes, I have a collection of small to medium-sized space vehicles. Some are more premature designs than others, but I think they're worth showing nonetheless. So, about a little more than a month ago now, I decided that, you know what, I'm finally done sorting my Lego in my storage drawers, but there's still a lot more Lego that needs to be sorted. What is the best way that I can eliminate a lot of junk pieces from my storage drawers and actually have them serve a purpose instead of just totally trashing them or trying to sell them? So I thought, why not try and use a bunch of Technic pieces that I know I'd never use in any other mock elsewhere to make a whole bunch of space mocks. So this space mine driller was built before that whole process, but you can see that there's this 4x10 brick that has the Technic pin connections to hold on these orange balloon wheels that were from the Mars mission sets. That's a Technic piece I might not have otherwise used. And if some people some people know their history, you know that this piece was in one of the was actually in the catapult from the 2013 King's Castle. Uh-huh. And I also built so this was loosely inspired by a Mars mission. Still need to put the control sticks and the control panel, because I definitely see me doing a mine we're having a whole mining operation in my space diorama that I'll get around to building eventually. And then this is in if you recognize the color scheme, this is inspired by Space Police 1. So you got the blue, the black, and the trans red. A while ago, I bought a bunch of the old trans red canopy pieces that came in the Space Police 1 sets, and eventually I will be changing the back here to include one of those 1x4 plates that has the finger slots that would have been able to connect those canopy pieces,
right,
so that this can be a fully enclosed canopy. Because the cool. Space Police back in those days would have had to fight off the Blacktron people.
Yo.
And I actually grew up on Blacktron 2.
That's what I grew up on too. I kind of missed out on the first wave of those.
So I have built a lot of both of the Blacktron color schemed vehicles. So the second generation had the black, the white, and the trans neon green, but the original generation was mainly black, trans yellow, and a little bit of yellow. And I've taken more of a creative direction to include more of the yellow, simply because I don't have as many black pieces as what I'd like.
Yeah.
So incorporating a little bit more of the plain yellow into my Blacktron 1 MOCs gives off kind of an Alpha Team deep sea mission vibe, if anyone remembers that theme from the early 2000s. So all of the Blacktron 1 and 2 MOCs I build are exclusively for Space Wars purposes. So this one, the Technic pieces that were inspired for this one was the big gear at the back that actually spins around, and also these weird pieces on the side that have a gap inside that I've tried to fill with the trans yellow plates.
Gotcha. Okay, so I have a question. Are these meant to be minifigure scale or?
Yes, they are.
Okay. All right.
And another one.
Are you planning to put one of those windshields on this one as well?
I don't really like to put the wind screens on the Blacktron stuff because it's very hard to get those trans yellow canopies. I think it's much harder to get those than the trans red, because the trans red ones were included in a lot of the small Space Police sets, but there weren't too many small Blacktron sets that included the trans yellow or the trans neon green canopies.
Yeah.
And they'd be in really rough shape probably too.
Yeah. However, they have put out some newer trans yellow wind screens recently, I believe, like with the Batman sets, the new Lego Batman movie sets came out with a bunch of them, and the red ones, they're the Monkey Kid spaceship set that came out has a really nice trans red windscreen, which was really
and so the main
yeah, it was just that set in general has some great parts. We might take a look at that real quick, because I've been eyeing that one for a while now, ever since it came out.
And so the main inspiration for this Balactron 2 mock was actually this piece from a Bionicle that I've used as a turbocharged engine or whatever.
I'm gonna bring up this set because it might be something that you could use for your trans red at least. I don't think it has any trans yellow, but let's see if I can. Oh yeah, it has a lot of teal parts too. Oh yeah, I guess I'll just go up to the top here.
Teal.
And then we'll share my screen real quick.
Just so quick. You know, so quick. Ooh,
Have you seen this set at all?
Yeah, I've seen that because I've seen people reviewing that.
Yeah, it's and for these wind screens basically, and I think there's some other trans red parts in here too.
It looks like a building. It doesn't even look like a ship, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's got some cool parts in it.
Those trans red canopies are bigger than the older ones because they are, instead of being 4 studs wide, they're 6 studs wide.
Yeah. Yeah, not bad parts in this set, honestly, for mocking.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
Azizu
got some pearl gold in here, or I think that's metallic gold even.
Azizu is bringing up the King's Castle Siege and the Medieval Market Village set. Those are on my white whale lists.
Oh yeah, we have one of those. We had a local guy here who, the Medieval Market.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
We have that. I don't think it's 100% complete, but we could probably make it 100% complete.
The King's Castle Siege was from 2007, and the Medieval Market Village was from 2009. Those are fantastic castle sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a nice dragon in it. I have the picture up if I could share my screen. I could share my screen. If I could figure it out. Hang on. One moment. Please stand by. Is this it? I don't know. How about this one? Shift. Shift, derpsies. Shift, derpsies. Oh. Hi, how you doing? Sorry. Can you see it?
No.
No. Never mind. There it is. How often do I do streams? I don't know.
Not very often.
I mean, like, I do them at work all the time. I can't figure this one out. All right, this one, this bad boy.
There we go.
Go to the thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's got skeletons, and the skeletons have their own shields. That's cute. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, it's a good set. We have that dragon,
cool.
Don't we?
Not that particular dragon, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
I love that whole era of the fantasy castle because you had the skeletons and the trolls.
Yeah, skeletons and trolls were a great addition.
And then on the side doing their own thing were the dwarves. The dwarves mine is probably a lot of people's favourite sets of the whole fantasy castle era because we hadn't gotten a lot of mines up until that point.
Yeah, that's true. So, I wanted to check out this, see what you thought, Mayo, of this technique that this guy created. I know you're really into the classic building of castles, but it might inspire you to take a little deep dive into some more technical texturing on your walls. This is a guy I just found today. Let's see if I can full screen this. I found him on Instagram, and he did this mortar technique.
I don't really collect licensed themes, and I've never bought any of the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit sets because I've never seen the movies.
Yeah, if you want dwarves, Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit have great dwarves in them.
But I remember when the Lake Town set came out and people were doing their reviews of it, and I'd see it on people's shelves, and now I kind of regret not getting the Lake Town set.
Yeah, that's true.
From what I remember, the Lake Town set's really cool. I picked up a few of the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings sets. I think one Hobbit and the other two were Lord of the Rings on Facebook Marketplace. I need to build them, see if they're complete. I think they had all the figs. There may be one fig missing.
Oh, I've seen that build technique before.
This?
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. I mean, all he's using is the 1x2 plates, modified plates with the clips and the bars, and he's just flipping them.
Yeah.
And then using the 1x2 brackets. It's pretty easy, but it's a good effect. It's a good effect. I don't know if I can zoom in on that. Oh, there we go.
Whoop.
I thought it was using the snot bricks, but it's not. He's using the clips instead.
That's a good shot. Yeah, he's using the clips and then the 1x2 brackets. And then he's using 1x2 brackets on their side with a 1x2 grill or tile, I guess, to fill in the gaps in between as the mortar. So, pretty good technique there.
Who does? I'm gonna follow him.
This is Geneva Durand. I'm not following him, but I am now. There you go.
I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now. Look.
A live follow. But yeah, I was impressed how simple it was, but how good it looks. And you can make some of the brick look like they're broken using these new tiles. Yeah, it's got some potential there.
Me likey. Literally.
The final two space mocks that I've got here are ones that are directly inspired by classic space, and they are in all grey. So these are more these spacecraft are more focused on the transportation of metals and minerals, but this one does have some sensors at the front, and it's on a turntable and a clip bar at the same time. So if I wasn't holding the camera, I could better demonstrate the full range of emotion of this thing. Sorry about that. Totally. But these pieces are Technic hydraulic pieces that have a lot of friction on the inside, so that it's a very slow process to move a Technic axle out of it. I can't remember where I got these pieces, but I had them lying around in my collection, so I wanted to use them. And for the wheels, there are some of these big wheel pieces that I took the tires off, and these Technic pieces at the bottom are from a lot of the the aeroplane builds from the aeroplanes that came out in the 2006 airport theme. So I had both the blue passenger plane and the 2006 airport. So I have a bunch of these in my collection, and because I'm a vintage fan of Lego, those planes are way too big in scale. So I've had to cannibalize those. I've had to cannibalize those pieces to use for other things because it just was not worth me keeping those planes together. So I've been able to utilize those wheel holders to hold these wheels instead. So, and these barred pieces that act like a cage door are actually at the jail bar window inserts from the 2011 police station set. Mm-hmm. And the printed computer console at the front is actually all authentic to Classic Space with the green screen and the white text with the red, green and yellow button on the side. And eventually I'll get around to putting some minifig accessories in here. And a technique I like to do with a lot of these space mocks, especially the ones that are trying to look like Classic Space, is I like to put this simple design for a fuel tank on top of a pair of storage containers that they can store some more metals and minerals. Then this is a smaller version of a slightly altered concept of this one that is using these smaller wheels and these other weird Technic pieces that are a 3 long beam with the 4 Technic pins coming out on the side. And also,
I like that. I like how you were able to use those parts to hinge that extra bay, I guess you could say, or extra.
Yeah,
in
because
the back
this kind of acts like it kind of acts like a trailer, but it's not really a trailer because it's permanent. It's permanently connected. But if you wanted to, you could take it off because it's connected via a Technic pin. And I like the articulation I was able to get out of this because it can swing from side to side.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you could use that really for making like small scale trains too. That would be a great base to build a train off of also.
Yeah, and
a smaller scale one.
And from a little bit about what you can see down here, if you squint hard enough, you'll recognize that I'm a big fan of Lego trains. So this undercarriage was unintentionally inspired by the Star Wars quote unquote train set from the Han Solo movie. That one set.
Right. Yep.
I'm not a fan of Star Wars whatsoever, but for my space mocks, I do take a lot of inspiration from Star Wars craft.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some great techniques that you can get out of any Lego sets.
And so I was able.
Theme is, so.
Yeah, sorry. So I was also able to utilize these weird Technic beam plates, as I like to call them. It's probably not the official name, but it adds a little bit of detail to an otherwise plain wall, and also the ramp at the back also comes down. So if you wanted to have this transporting a small little rover instead of bulk quantities of loose metals and minerals, you can. And this doesn't
that's
have
what we're missing, honestly, Mayo. We need the robot in there and we need minifigures. We need some classic space minifigures in there.
I think I bought 8 copies of the Benny Space Squad set from the Lego Movie 2.
There you go. You need to throw those in there.
Yeah, and so they're in a Sterilite container over there. I'll try and dig through them when I finish talking about these mocks. But this also has the all light bluish grey storage containers so that you can put in some more metals and minerals for extra transport. I do need to probably order more of these light bluish grey, I think they're 5 long antennas, so that I can have an antenna at the back here. Because something I like to do with all of these spacecraft, sorry, my cord's getting in the way, is I do like to have antennas. So this Blacktron 2 mock has a black version of that antenna. I still need to get an antenna for this one as well. But I think with interplanetary space technology, it's always good to have communications between the different ships flying around in between the planets for a different communication. And that's why Lego included a lot of that stuff on their sets back in the day.
So what I would like to see with all of those creations that you did is make a little scene where you have we have the Blacktron spaceship shooting at the space police, or have the rovers picking up the minerals off the lunar surface or something. So like make like a textured lunar base for them to sit on and have the guys there picking up the stuff. I would love to see
or like a little star field so you can mount them on the star field, make them look like they're flying.
Yeah, and actually those are the exact designs. Those are the exact ideas that I thought about myself to build in that space a diorama, because I was thinking to myself, well, if I'm going to invest heavily in the mining operations for my spacecraft, and also the warfare combat between the space police and the Blacktron, what are the two scenes I should incorporate into this space diorama? There should be a battle scene and a whole mining operation, because I think those are probably the two most common scenes that you see in space dioramas at the conventions, because they're always fun. They're always fun scenes to build in, and you can get a lot of hidden Easter eggs. And so I thought it would be kind of nonchalant to have the miners doing their thing, and the military fighters doing their thing, and the miners be off on the side looking at the shenanigans of the battlefield and thinking to themselves, okay, you do your thing, and we're gonna do our thing. We'll leave you alone just as you leave us alone.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
We're cool.
That's a good idea. Have the miners be the neutrals, and Space Police and Blacktron be the opposing forces. So,
because the whole backstory that I'd want to incorporate into my space diorama is that the reason why there's a battlefield on the ground and a midair in the first place is because the Blacktron want to steal what the miners are mining. Because there has to be a motive about why the Blacktron people are being pests and bugging the mining operation, and there has to be a reason why the miners have to call for the services of the space police to interfere. There has to be. See, you have to make a good mock. You have to come up with a backstory.
Yeah, people love hearing the stories included with these Lego creations. It just adds a whole nother level, especially on YouTube with the YouTube videos. People just love those backstories and why are those minifigures doing the things that they're doing, and why are those spaceships crashed into that building? So yeah,
Let me go and
get stuff.
Let me go and get something.
Gotta make it cinematic. Gotta make it pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like with a scene like that, it reminds me of the war reenactment scenes or the actual medieval battle scene games that people play when they have scale models of an actual battlefield that happened in the Middle Ages or World War I or World War II, and they roll the dice to see how far the artillery advances behind enemy lines or whatever, and then they roll another dice to see if the missile or the boulder kills X, Y, and Z soldiers. I could imagine in a Lego-ified way using that same concept of an RPG game to be applied to Lego models the same way people play those games with scale models.
Oh yeah,
totally. They kind of do that. Don't they do that at Bricks LA? Didn't they do that with a castle one year?
They did have something similar. Not maybe exactly what May was talking about, but they did have a game, a medieval style game that, was based on battles and that kind of stuff. So
So I do have some other mocks, but I'm not as proud about those as the one that I showed off. So in around here, I thought I had maybe they're not here, maybe they're somewhere else. I had some of the default builds. Here's one. If I can get it out and push this in ever so slightly, get it connected. This is the small spaceship build from the Benny Space Squad, and I've got about eight of these. I must have disassembled the other ones, but those are what the minifigs came in that I am using for that I'm going to be using for my diorama and populating into all of the different ships I've got going on in the battle scene. So there's
that'd be cool.
I think the pink
would be so cool.
Yeah, so I think the pink one was called Lenny. This is obviously a Benny. I think the white where is it? There's a white one.
Denny and Lenny.
Yeah, I think the white one was a Jenny, and I can't remember what the yellow one was, but he's got the metal. He's got the metal detector in his hand.
Yeah, he's got the old school helmet too.
Yeah, the re-release of the old style helmet.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, thanks for sharing, Mayo. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Those were cool. Very cool. We'll have to wait and see what you do with the diorama and the terrain work and everything.
Yeah, it was an honor to come onto the show and show that stuff off.
Yeah, so we're probably gonna be getting towards the end here. We're almost about to hit the 1 hour mark. We do 1 hour shows here on MOCday. any last remarks from either of you? If you guys aren't following Mayo Hosco, he is on Instagram. He is on YouTube. I should probably, if you want to throw your Instagram or YouTube link in the chat, Mayo, you're welcome to do so.
I will do that. And now that I've got a website built as of 2 months ago, and nowadays, instead of telling people to go to X, Y, and Z and blah blah blah, I just tell people to go to a website which has links to all of my socials. That is mayohosco.weebly.com, where you can find links to my YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, a Discord, and Patreon, etc.
Awesome.
I just realized I wasn't following you, so I clicked that follow button.
I'll try bring up a link to my website and put that in the chat. I try to edit that thing daily, just to build up the information that's on there.
Awesome.
Nice.
Alicia, any last remarks before we end the stream?
I'm so happy to be streaming with all of you. I had a very dark age of not streaming and refusing to stream and being in denial that I wanted to stream, but this has been really fun so far. So
I think because I'm not a moderator, I can't post up the links. So I'll send you a DM, Troy, of the link to my website.
Sounds good.
Let's see what we got here. Do it real quick here before we get off. Copy link and post it.
Next week I have an idea of what I want to talk about.
Right now?
I just know about for next week.
Oh, for next week. Great. Yeah, save it for next week.
I had an idea.
Awesome.
It's amazing.
Well, yeah, you guys, so that is the show. If you didn't know, we are here every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific, talking mocks, talking original creations from people like Mayo Hosco, a great contributor to the LEGO YouTube community. So again, thank you very much, Mayo. Go check him out. He's got cool stuff, as you could see on this show. Thank you, Alicia, for being here with me as my co-host, my official co-host.
I'm official now. Oh, great. That's awesome.
Always. You're always official. So we're going to end the stream. Hope we see you guys next week. If you missed this show live, come back next week. And if anybody's interested on coming on for MOCday to show off your stuff, we do try to incorporate original creations. So not really sets or anything like that. But if you have original creations that you want to show off, let us know. Get a hold of us. We're on Instagram, YouTube. Let us know, and we'll get you on the show. So thank you guys for watching. We're going to end the stream with a convention schedule. If you want to go to a convention, show off your stuff, get inspired by other people, it's there for you. So thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Go to do all the things.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Mayo.
Thanks, Mayo.